Thank you to all these amazing candidates with us today. And now I'd like to introduce a true champion of workers' rights and the lead sponsor in the House of the $19 minimum wage bill, Representative Brianna Henry.
Thank you, friends, neighbors, people who are listening in. I am super excited to have the endorsement of One Fair Wage and be able to speak to you about the importance of being able to ensure that people who are working should be able to also live. This isn't a rocket science movement. This is very much so common sense. I always feel so, not even so much awkward, but I always feel so frustrated that we have to continue to have this conversation, that we have to continue to bring this up, that this continues to have to be the fight that we go to. It is important, the fight that we have, but it is a shame that we still have been fighting it. The $15 minimum wage was one of the first bills that I was really excited about once I was here in my first year as a legislator, but it was soon kind of met with a bittersweet feeling that it wasn't nearly enough. My favorite thing to talk about is that I'm actually, or I was actually, a retail manager when I was first elected, which means I have experience working about hourly minimum wage, and I know what it looks like. I know what the lives look like of the people who are experiencing this work. A lot of the girls I hired or the employees that I had would work in restaurant industry. They would come back to me with horror stories about their treatment at work, their wages, being able to not make ends meet. And these aren't people that are considered to be like lowly or shouldn't be dignified in some way because of what they've chosen to do. These are people that are just like you and me, who are just trying to make a name for themselves, that are just trying to, you know, make ends meet. And yet we're still sitting here shorting them every chance we get because we don't want to lift the minimum wage. I think it's important to note that a lot of the practices around the tipped minimum wage come from slave days. These are things that kind of shorthandedly make it so that we can never walk into generational wealth, and we have to stop. We have to stop making that the standard and start elevating people so that way they can be elevated in our community. There's lots of myths about how it can affect small businesses and what it would look like for our economy, but time and time again we've proven that this would be the lift that brings us all up together. So I ask that you guys continue to back us in this fight as we fight for not just 19, because that is literally the floor. Let's keep pushing for more, and then continue to fight for those who are currently receiving sub-minimum wage and bring them up along with everyone else, because it's not just about bringing dignity to these workforces, but also bringing a level of humanity. This is talking about taking care of our neighbors and our friends to make sure that they have enough to be able to make their bills, to be able to live, and not just survive, but actually thrive in the world that we have. So I'm going to pass it back to Alex to introduce the next person.
Thank you, Representative Henry.